The evolution of the Arizona Cardinals over the last 18 months is no secret. I thought it was time to bring on a guy who experienced some of it firsthand. Let's discuss.
You are Locked On Cardinals, your daily Arizona Cardinals podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Follow me on Twitter at Clancy's Corner. Follow the podcast at Locked On AZ Cards. Thank you for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen, free wherever you get your podcast, and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. We've got a fun show today. It was Victory Monday yesterday. No notes, all fun. The offensive line was in the forefront of the conversation, namely with the defense and how it's all starting to come together under Jonathan Gannon. I wanted to bring on a guy, smart dude, been around Super Bowl winning organizations, been with the Arizona Cardinals when they haven't been at their best, and also one of the best Sunday Night Football introductions that you've ever seen straight off the couch. Justin Pugh joining me here, Locked On Cardinals. Dude, thanks for doing this. I appreciate it.
Back on the couch right now. I'm not playing right now, so it's good to be on the couch watching some football. Just got done watching the Arizona Cardinals beat up on those New York Jets, so I have a good perspective for you going on the show today.
Yeah, man. So talk to me about what you're seeing through your eyes over the last 18 months or so when Cliff and Steve Keim were removed from post, and what you're seeing with this organization. I dubbed it, it's lazy, but I dubbed it Arizona Cardinals 2.0. The trajectory of this team is different than it's been over the last 15 years. Picks, money, young talent, drafting well, everything like that. In your eyes, from being in the locker room to witnessing where you are now as a fan, talk to me about the evolution of this team.
Yeah, the evolution of this team really is the evolution of Kyler Murray. This team goes as Kyler Murray goes. And I was there when we drafted him after maybe the worst offense in NFL history when I first got here, when we had, Sam Bradford, then Josh Rosen. No semblance of an offense that year. It was frustrating. Then we get Kyler, and you go through the growing pains of a young quarterback and an offensive line coming together. And we had that start of when I think we were 7-0, 8-0, and we were kind of playing backyard football. We ran around and threw it up to DeAndre Hopkins. We bring in James Conner, the pieces were there. It was always like we had a good offensive line. We ran the ball well. We missed on some draft pieces. You never get it twisted. You saw probably the prime example of that yesterday was Hassan Reddick was back in the building wearing Jets green. He's one of the guys where you wish you never let him go out the door. And it just shows kind of the evolution. Steve Keim and Cliff not being there anymore, and John Gannon coming in with Monty and kind of changing the philosophy. It felt like there was a tankathon going on with the Arizona Cardinals, especially last year when there just wasn't the Jimmies and Joes on the field that you thought they could compete. And early on into this season, it's like, hey, they address the offense. You draft Paris Johnson. You draft Marvin Harrison Jr. It's like, all right, they address the offense this year. Next year, they're going to go out there and get some more defensive pieces. Obviously, Robinson having some injuries early. You lose Dennis Gardeck. Zaven Collins, you move him from inside linebacker to on-the-ball linebacker. I couldn't have told you an interior D lineman's name before the season started. Like, just being a guard. I'm a guard in the NFL for 11 years, and I couldn't have told you, who on the interior D line I was losing sleep over watching this film. And I'm just looking at it like, all right, if Budda Baker can carry this defense, maybe there's a way. They're just, going to play harder than folks. And early on in the season, it was like if the Cardinals offense wasn't putting up a tremendous amount of points, there was going to be, some issues to keep up with teams. And I was, critical of the defense at times. And I thought, in some games, there just wasn't the talent on defense. And all of a sudden, the offense has just continued to catch fire. And that's where I really look at Kyler Murray's arc of his career. He is prime Kyler Murray right now. He is playing at a level that I haven't seen. And to that defense that I was skeptical of, they are playing harder than anyone else on the football field. And I can talk more about the defense and how wrong I was and how maybe the plan that I thought was a year away is now showing, hey, we're here right now and we're making it loud and proud.
Yeah. Justin Pugh, former Arizona Cardinal, former New York Jet, joining me here, Locked On Cardinals, your team every day. Also, part of the 1% on Twitter where it's first name, last name, no numbers. I'm a big proponent of that. I give people kudos for that because it's few and far between. Now, we'll talk about Kyler and the offensive line in the next segment because I think it is imperative. it's imperative to change the narrative from, oh, if you're not talking about the offensive line, that means they're doing a good job, to praising those 5 men up front, not forcing Kyler out of the pocket, everything like that. We'll do that in the next segment because that's the heartbeat of all of this on the offense. Talk to me about the importance of James Conner and Budda Baker, not only for 2024, but beyond.
Need to bring him back. Budda Baker should never put another jersey on. James Conner has, running backs. You've seen this if you watch the Hard Knocks for the New York Giants. People don't value running backs post 27, 28 years old. James Conner is showing that he's running angrier than ever. He has something to prove. Him and Kyler have this chemistry that's unmatched. Then this guy popped on screen yesterday, Trey Benson. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, wow, we got a 1-2 punch. Look at Detroit last night on Sunday Night Football. You need to have 2 guys that can tote the rock. And what Trey Benson showed on film really was, a breath of fresh air. Marvin Harrison is starting to find, voids in the zone. Just going back to James Conner. He's running the ball very, very hard. The offensive line is doing a great job. But the screen game with James Conner has been tremendous. Starting that first drive, taking it all the way down to the 1. It was a touchdown. I don't know why they overturned it. But James Conner is an integral piece to make this offense go. The defense doesn't operate without Budda Baker. He's on the line. He's doing what Troy Polamalu and Ed Reed did for the Ravens and the Steelers. He's on the ball. He's blitzing. He's getting sacks. He's dropping into coverage. He's getting PBUs. He is the heart and soul of that defense, and it goes as he goes. And that's something that Budda Baker should not be traded. I tweeted that out last week. He should be a Cardinal for life. He should break the market for safeties. You think like, oh, this guy can't withstand playing the way he does with the energy and the physicality, and he just proves time and time again. Nobody wants smoke with Budda Baker. They avoid him at all costs. 2 guys that should never put another jersey on is James Conner and Budda Baker. It should always be a Cardinals jersey.
I agree. I mean, and you got to use the new age. What the cool kids are saying, all other 31 teams would be in their DMs if the Cardinals moved off from them. So that should tell you enough. And, it's interesting with Budda Baker specifically. It's something that's just kind of this aha moment. Like, this is not to negate pretty good corners the Cardinals have had since he was drafted in 2017. He's had to overcompensate for holes on the defense his entire career, and now he's just able to play. Now he's able to play free safety like they saw with Tyrann Mathieu, not exactly the same. But look at what Tyrann Mathieu has done for the extent of his career. He's, quote-unquote, old. He's still a Pro Bowler, and I think you could see that with Budda Baker. I agree with you. I mean, in locker room-wise, before we pivot to Kyler in the offensive line next, talking about James Conner and Budda Baker in the locker room specifically, because people think that it's just, oh, they're getting older, look at numbers. How important are they to this team, like the heartbeat of this team in the locker room?
James Conner leads by example. First one in, last one out. He's doing extra weightlifting. Like the videos of them, like in this offseason, like at 1 o'clock in the morning lifting weights. Like that's James Conner leading the way on that. He is, the hardest working man in that building. Not to like downgrade anyone else. Like he goes so far. Like he probably is the hardest working man in the NFL to overcome what he did, beating cancer, coming out and college and his early arc of his career. There's not a guy, you get goosebumps actually thinking about it. I just did, because like he's a guy you want to root for. He's a guy you want to see him have lifelong success, and just love seeing him thrive out there in Arizona. And you can't recreate that type of leadership. And I was around Eli Manning. I was around Justin Tuck. You lead by example first and foremost. And if you're not doing the little things right, people notice. There's not one little thing that James Conner doesn't do right. Budda Baker not only does everything right, and then he's a maniac on the field, he's also more of the vocal guy in that locker room. He's the one that's like getting in people's faces, talking to opposing defenses, setting a tone. Like I grew up an Eagles fan, right? Don't hold that against me, everybody. But they had this guy, Brian Dawkins, who was the heart and soul of that team. And he took it personally when you play somebody. That's Budda Baker. He's setting the tone. And I don't know when you want to hop into like me putting some praise back on the defense, maybe next segment after the O-line and Kyler. But those 2 guys lead from the front. They do it the right way. And then we'll get into Kyler here as well, but it's very, very exciting to see those guys thrive in this season. Budda didn't want to be there much longer because it looked like the Cardinals were tanking. Monty wasn't hiding it. Like he just wasn't putting the talent on the field. And now everyone's kind of looking like Monty looks like the mastermind, and Jonathan Gannon and this coaching staff is like, hey, we had a philosophy, we stuck to it, and that is something that a lot of teams can take notes from, because they didn't just go for the nice, shiny objects. They identified the right players that fit the culture, and culture is helping win games, and that's a testament to Monty, to Gannon, to ownership, to Bidwell. Like, it is fun to watch.
You looking for a co-hosting gig, dude? It's so nice to hear somebody who has been on the front line say it, and it's a beautiful thing. We're going to talk about Kyler. We're going to talk about the offensive line. I do want to get your thoughts on the coaching staff as well as the Cardinals transition from the old regime officially to the new as we start to see this positive momentum gain more and more every week. Justin Pugh joining me here, Locked On Cardinals, your team every day. Be right back. This episode of Locked On Cardinals is brought to you by our friends at Ultimate Pro Football GM. Hey, Cardinals fans, remember our great partner, Ultimate Pro Football GM? Well, they're back and they've added an amazing new game mode I need to tell you about. The game has you step in the shoes of a football franchise GM and lead it to glory. Now they have a new head coach career mode. So on top of getting to build your dynasty by drafting players, signing free agents, and hiring coaching staff, now you get to call all the offensive plays during the games as well. It's bonkers. If you have it installed already, be sure to do an update so that you can try out the new mode. If you don't have it yet, download it right now. It's a must-have for all football fans. I love it and know you will too. Ultimate Pro Football GM is completely free, has no ads, and is 100% playable offline. So you can play on the go as you want and where you want. And here's a special offer for Locked On fans. Use promo code LOCKEDONNFL, all caps, inside the game store to receive a free boost to your franchise. Make sure to get it, as this perk will jumpstart your play and give you the advantage you'll want in creating a dynasty. To download the game, just visit ultimate-gm.com or look it up on the app stores. Ultimate Pro Football GM. Start your dynasty today. Today's episode of Locked On Cardinals is also brought to you by our friends at Bank FanDuel. So FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. We talk about them all the time. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets after you place your first $5 bet and it wins. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to make live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, do live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your app. You don't have to pull up Google for stat information. You get it all in the app. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. All right. Second segment, Justin Pugh, former Arizona Cardinal, former New York Giant, former Syracuse Orangeman. Joining me here, Locked On Cardinals, your team every day. Before we talk about Kyler Murray on the offensive line, because we could do that for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Jonathan Gannon, Drew Petzing, and Nick Rallis, 3 guys who have never held the position they currently hold, seem to be exceeding expectations 12 months before people expect. 8 months. What have they done? Why is this different?
Okay, so we're going to start offense and we're going to work our way back. Actually, we'll start with Gannon, and everyone gave him a hard time when he came in and he did that little with Rondell Moore, and everyone's like, this is ridiculous. I've met him a few times, running into him in Arizona, charity events, local gathering spots, and he has the energy that a head coach needs. A head coach is the CEO, and he allows his position coaches and defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator to go out there and do their job. Now, I'm sure him and Rallis are helping game plan together, but when it comes to the offense and the creativity that Petzing is using right now, Arizona, be wary. People are going to come calling because he's calling the right plays at the right times. Kyler, again, is helping make him look even better. I'm not going to sit here and say, like, not having an MVP candidate at quarterback it helps the coordinator, but it just seems like they are called a perfect play in the perfect scenarios. And the offensive line, like, it is all just coming together. And that starts with the offensive coordinator leading the charge. Gannon sets the tone. And then on defense, honestly, I think Rallis deserves so much credit. I don't know how much Gannon and him are both playing into it, but the defense as a whole is exceeding every expectation that I had. Again, I looked long and I'm like, Dennis Gardeck, once he went down, I'm like, who's going to rush the passer? Jesse Luketa, who was a 7th-round pick when I was there and played on practice squad, is playing harder than anyone on the football field right now. They're getting creative with their defensive fronts. They're stemming to bear, which is like covering up every offensive lineman. They're going 3 bigs to a side, putting 3 down linemen all to like one side of the offensive line. They're mugging up 2 linebackers, Kazir White and Mac Wilson, bringing that down Budda Baker. There was times where it looks like the Jets offensive line has never played football in their life because of the smoke and mirrors. You remember when, who said this? Like, I'm seeing ghosts out there, a quarterback.
Yeah, Yeah.
Sam Darnold, Aaron Rodgers was seeing ghosts, and like he's been in this league for a very long time. And at the biggest moments, you have guys making plays. One of the first third downs, I think it was Stills, the defensive tackle, beats his guy clean, gets in Rodgers' face. Roy Lopez makes a play later on a huge third down on the goal line. It was a bend but don't break defense yesterday. And then once they got a lead, which Kyler makes the defense even better, which is why I think him and Lamar are 1-2 in the MVP race right now. Just teams can't come back. They can't crawl out of that hole. Like the Jets moved the ball the first 2 drives of the game. They actually were efficient on offense. They got down there, and on the biggest plays, the Cardinals made the play they had to make, and that was the difference in the game. Cardinals got 7, Jets got 3, and eventually you can't play that game forever. So it's pure team football. Chad Ryland, did you think we would be shouting out a kicker on this? He's been electric. You go down Miami, get a close win. Like everything that I'm seeing from the Cardinals is culture. It's team football. It's like doing it the right way. And that is something that isn't just one player. But again, we're going to talk to him about him right now. It's Kyler Murray setting the tone. And there's so many things I want to talk about with Kyler. Do you want to just hop right into it?
Yeah. Justin Pugh knows ball. He knows what it's like to be an offensive lineman more than everything else. How elite is this offensive line, mind you, without Will Hernandez and Jonah Williams on the right side?
First, let me give a shout out to Will Hernandez. He was playing his best football of his career.
Crazy.
Cardinals better get that contract done next year, and he'll be fine. I talked to him a couple of days ago, and he said he's feeling better than ever, ahead of schedule. Like Will, we did this bone density testing, and Will Hernandez has like the densest bones in that whole entire NFL. Like if there's one guy that I'm not worried about recapping and coming back, it's Will. He'll be back. But the guys that have been playing in his place, you have Evan Brown and you know Kellen Beachum coming in playing for Jonah Williams has been playing really good football. There was not one time yesterday where I was like, wow, the offensive line absolutely blew this call, blew this protection. Paris Johnson has been elite moving over to left tackle. I'm never a fan of moving a guy. He's a freakazoid. He's one of one. You lock him up as soon as you can because don't let that left tackle number go any higher, Monty. Like just lock him in right now because left tackle contracts aren't getting cheaper.
Yeah.
I can't say enough good things. The screen game, that getting downfield, the way they're blocking, the energy, like it is so refreshing to watch. There is not one area that I'm like, oh, I wish they just did this better on offense. Everything is working right now. The confidence is an all-time high. And the offensive line is playing elite level football. And that's a testament to Monty having the depth on the roster to go out there and have these guys playing at that level.
Yeah. And we'll get you out of here on this, and we'll definitely have you pub everything you want right after this. But with Kyler Murray, you saw him as a rookie. I still go back to week 1 in Detroit, his first game where he brought that team back to a tie and was a Tremaine Brock ball off the chest plate from winning a game that they had no business. You guys had no business being in after the first half. Yeah. He brought them all the way back. Pocket presence. It's been the big thing. It's been the buzzword his entire career. Always too short. Stop it. Brock Osweiler had more batted down balls the year that Kyler Murray was his last year at Oklahoma. And Brock Osweiler is almost a foot taller. So I don't think it's height. I think it's depth of pocket. That's one thing. But you see him having tea parties in the backfield, untouched for a good portion of most of these games. But it's still, the presence is different. What are you seeing?
Yeah, Kyler Murray's playing with a confidence I've never seen. Now, the one thing I will say, the one negative before I hop on all the positives, it's the untouched blitzers. Like yesterday, he almost got murdered by Quincy Williams, and Jalen Ramsey had to play in the Miami game. Like, if we can get rid of those, it's unstoppable. That's the one thing I don't want to see Kyler get decapitated out there. Like, that is something you got to protect yourself and can't take those hits. So after that being said, I'm watching Kyler Murray get up under center. I'm watching Kyler Murray use cadence in multiple different cadences. Like, we went on the clap the whole time. Like, literally, as soon as you would see a clap come, you knew the ball was coming. We didn't have cadence, which is a weapon. The screen game is maybe the best in the NFL, just the perfect timing of the screens. When Kyler Murray gets on motion, he freezes the entire defense because they're actually more worried about not having him embarrass them and shake their ankles than like actually making a play. He is dropping in deep balls. Marvin Harrison is coming into his own. Trey McBride is the next generation of tight end that is just coming and can block, can catch, can do it all. Kyler Murray is making everyone better around him. Everybody from the equipment guys who he's making the gear look as fresh as ever, all the way up into the owner who's like, wow. Even to the point of like, you guys want to talk about gaming and Call of Duty? Watch what I'm going to do with Call of Duty bringing veterans. He's hitting home run after home run. Yeah. Kyler Murray is in the MVP conversation, no question about it. It's him and Lamar Jackson at this point. He is carrying and putting the team on his back. The sky is the limit for the Arizona Cardinals. As long as Kyler continues to play at this high of a level and be this dynamic, he's running at the perfect times. He's not a running quarterback, but when he gets out in space, he makes everyone miss and scores touchdowns. He's celebrating. As soon as he drops back and takes off to run, he's celebrating with like 10 yards or 40 yards to go in the San Fran game earlier in the season. He is I don't know any more adjectives I can throw out there. There is not a single thing besides Kyler, just protect your blind side. Don't take those big hits, because without Kyler, this team, will still be competitive. Don't get me wrong, but he is the aura. He is everything for the Arizona Cardinals. And I'm excited to see the rest of the season. Like, it is going to be exciting down the stretch. It's competitive. They're first in the NFC West. Just everything going the way of the Cardinals. And I'm excited that I was able to be a part of, what they're doing now. And now I get to be a fan and cheer them on every Sunday.
Dude, really appreciate you doing this. Justin Pugh, former Arizona Cardinal, former New York Giant, straight off the couch, man. Everybody's, I'm Myles Garrett. It's like, who cares? Everybody's doing that. Nobody said straight off the couch like Justin Pugh.
Man, we made it work. The one thing I would love you guys to come check me out right now as a former NFL player. I'm trying to find the best fans in the NFL. So every Thursday night, I'm going to a new stadium to find the fans. Maybe we're going to have a playoff game. Like right now, I work on Sundays with ESPN, so haven't been able to get to a game back in AZ just yet. But I'm going to all the Thursday night football games, and I'm finding the best fans in the NFL. So go check out my YouTube page at Justin Pugh 67. You can follow me on X. I'm going to post a link. We drop an episode tonight, Monday. So, Monday night we're doing it. So maybe this won't drop by then, but if you go to my YouTube, you'll find all of it, and follow me on social media.
Love it, man. Really appreciate you joining me. Alex Clancy, Locked on Cardinals. We will react to everything that Justin just said next. This episode of Locked on Cardinals is brought to you by our friends at the GameTime app. GameTime makes everything easy when you want to buy tickets, man. They have a new feature called GameTime Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite team play live even easier. GameTime Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste your time searching through thousands of tickets. They've got all-in pricing. All you have to do is go to the app and toggle to all-in pricing. The feature shows the total upfront cost with no surprise fees at checkout. You can get a panoramic seat view from your seat in the app before you buy. If you want to go to a Suns game, you want to go to a Cardinals game, and you've never sat in a specific section, you want to see what the vantage point is, click on the ticket before you buy it, and it shows you. You can go like this, and it'll show you what your vantage point will be from the seats. It's absolutely bananas. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with GameTime Picks. Download the GameTime app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDON NFL for $20 off. Download GameTime today. What time is it? Game time. That was awesome. Justin Pugh's great. Again, follow him at Justin Pugh on Twitter, former Arizona Cardinal. He was here in the thick of it. He alluded to it. His first year with the Cardinals was Steve Wilkes 2018, where the Cardinals scored less points per game than the 2008 Detroit Lions and went 0-16. 14.1 points per game. I'll never forget it. And then he saw Kyler as a rookie. He was here during the Cliff experience. Like, if there's somebody who knows how different this is, it's him. And I wasn't even going to ask him about James Conner and Budda Baker, but we started going down that path of importance of leaders and importance of players. And I was like, I probably know the answer to this, and I'd rather have him say it than me say it for another, for the 100th time. And he said it better and, more obviously first-handedly than I ever will, obviously. Got to extend them both. Budda Baker's Budda Baker. Budda Baker's one of one. James Conner's the hardest working guy in football. They're both leaders in completely different ways. It's perfect. And then Kyler Murray's maturity on and off the field. Justin saw it from snap one, and he sees it now. And the offensive line, he did have to jump, so I'm going to get him back on soon. So we're going to get to do about 30 minutes instead of 25. Extra 5 minutes is key. That's invaluable information about what it was and what it is now. The offensive line with Kelvin Beachum and Will Hernandez, that's an interesting insight. He messaged with Will Hernandez a couple days ago. The bone density. Will Hernandez will be back better than ever. Leave in the comments if you have questions that you want me to ask him next time I have him on, hopefully to get him on in the next couple of weeks. Locked On Cardinals, your team every day. What he said for 20 minutes mirrored the sentiment of this show. And I didn't know what he was going to say. I've been trying to get him on for a while. And I know he's trying to get, he's trying to get the media part of his life going. And I was, it's obviously in full swing. It's like, dude, if you can take 15 minutes and join me to give insight about your journey with the Cardinals and witnessing what you're witnessing now, it's awesome. Again, Justin Pugh, at Justin Pugh on Twitter. The Kyler Murray thing it's fascinating. I didn't know how much of a leap Kyler's taken from a firsthand account. Like, we see it, 2020 even. He had some magical moments. 2021, obviously, the first 7 weeks were great, 10-2, and then it kind of fell off after, James Conner got hurt and DeAndre Hopkins got hurt, and then Cliff. And then 2022, we saw the comeback against the Raiders. I think it was in week 2 where, it was the 18-second or whatever it was, 2-point conversion play that he ended up running in the beginning of the end of 2023. And now he's never seen Kyler play better. And we've seen Kyler Murray put these numbers up before. But I think, as he mentioned it, they're playing backyard football in 2021 when they started 7-0. So that's a testament to Drew Petzing. That's a testament to Kyler Murray's growth and maturity. It's a testament to the offensive line. It's a testament to the defense. It's a testament to the offensive skill position players in James Conner and Marvin Harrison Jr. and Trey McBride. So what I just witnessed for 20 minutes was the validation that this isn't going anywhere. This is different. It's fresh. It's sustainable. And it starts and ends with Kyler Murray. And Kyler Murray has never been better, according to former Arizona Cardinal offensive lineman who played left guard for Kyler Murray for 4 years. Pretty impactful stuff. Again, go follow him on Twitter at Justin Pugh, and I will drop in the link, his YouTube channel as well. Thanks again for joining me. Everybody, remember, without you, there is no me. I will talk to you on Wednesday.